So tell us your name, your company, how long you've been doing this, all that fun stuff.
Okay. I am Melinda Cohea. I'm the client relations director for Pink Flamingo Catering. We just celebrated 14 years of being around in the catering world. Most of that is weddings, but we are fortunate enough, to do a lot of corporate stuff and personal things for people all the time. And yeah, that's the good general intro.
Is there a particular thing about weddings that you like?
Me personally, I am a very sentimental person. And so seeing the commitment and seeing the support system and the love that goes into that day of how many people come together to support the start of something that is truly, in my opinion, just a very sacred day and action that you're taking a part of and two people coming together. Um, so I love that part of it. I love the ceremony. I love what it stands for.
Well, how would you describe the types of weddings or couples that you like you personally prefer working with? Is there a particular type that you like over the other?
I don't want to say we have a type, but I do feel really strongly that not every couple fits the vibe of Pink Flamingo Catering, and we don't fit their vibe. And that is why it is, I mean, we just really think it's awesome to have such a great selection of caterers and different types of people in our community that we have. But overall, like we love people that we can get to know. Like we're not in it just for the, hey, this is what I want, here it is, show up and leave. Like we really like to know our clients. We like to make sure we can reflect their menu properly of like who they are on the day. It's not just about, I mean, it is about good food, but it's also like you want it to reflect the couple and like it can set the tone for, how they enjoy their evening.
Yeah, and it's funny you touched on that. You want it to feel you that this whole togetherness, this whole family thing. Like
Yeah.
every vendor I've found after interviewing people, we
Yeah.
all want the same thing. It's like we all want
Yeah.
the family atmosphere. We all
Yeah.
want, we all still have past clients that are still friends of ours and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So that sounds like that's a pretty common thread that runs across,
I
you know.
really think so because I really feel like on the day, like when you're there, I can't imagine it being a fun atmosphere if all your vendors don't vibe well together and everything's super formal and structured. I mean, don't get me wrong, structure's important, but do you know what I mean? Like you want to know that you're comfortable enough that like you can go to the other parts and the other people involved and it all just, everybody's working to accomplish the same goal. And like
Yeah.
that is for, yeah, I think that that is a good common denominator across all of us.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
I know that whenever I think of you, for some reason, I think of walking into the Robin Shaw and seeing you behind the bar. Like that's how I imagine Melissa.
Most of the time because I'm setting something up and I'm doing that number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So what would you say that you want guests to experience? What do you want them to feel when they're like experiencing your food, your service? Like what's your vibe on that?
as a whole, we want them to feel taken care of. Like we want them to know and have confidence that I don't have to think about that because they've got us. Like I know that they listened to us on the front side. I know they have a good handle on what to expect from my guest because we work really hard to understand that on the front side. Um, so I'd really say like confidence mixed with just that comfort of just knowing that we're good and I don't have to worry about the catering side of things, like from start to finish.
What do you think makes wedding food memorable to guests?
Like, I just think it needs to be good. Like, it needs to be, I don't think it's necessarily always about something that's fun and different. Now, granted, we're always down to do fun new things, but I think just making sure that it is quality food that you can tell thought went into the preparation of it. And meaning, like, taking extra steps of like, not putting things together until a certain point till it's time to serve them. And so it's not just sitting out and knowing and having the forethought that that's what makes good wedding food, right? is that you know what you're serving is quality and that you'd feel comfortable literally if they knew you personally fix that, your name is on that. It's not just
Yeah.
a company name. And I think that that's really important.
You do a lot of talking about food, and don't get me wrong, the food is always great and it's always consistently great with Pink
Thank,
Flamingo. I can
thank
honestly
you.
say that because I've eaten a
Thank
lot
you.
of it. But
Thank
one thing you haven't touched on is service.
Again, I think this kind of goes back to the beginning when we were talking about like making sure we have the right people on our team because everybody I can confidently say that we have with us, whether they're our weekenders that work with us or our chefs in the kitchen, everybody cares about what we're doing. And that is important. And like making sure that we are giving the service because we have one day, right, for these wedding clients, right? We have
Yep.
one chance for them to know again that we listen to them on the front side and that we know the things that they're most concerned about so we can alleviate that for them. Um, and I really think that's kind of what comes down to it with the customer service and everything leading up to it, leading up to the day of, but then on the actual event day, right? Because that's, we're less than 10 people total full time. And I think a lot of people don't know that we're fairly small in that regard. But then, like our weekend event staff, we have full-time teachers, we have people, that have full-time jobs during the normal week. But knowing that all of those people show up and they have that same level of care
Mhm.
is important to us because, like, we don't use outside contracting companies to staff our wedding events. We know every single event staff that comes and puts on a Pink Flamingo apron for the day of because
Amen.
we want to know that like their attitude is good, that they're pumped to be there because we truly are, right? Like you brought up the formality stuff earlier, and I would say that's probably one thing Pink Flamingo is not, is formal. We can be refined and we can do things like that, but like our staff is going to be the staff that you see walking around like when we're bussing tables and taking trash, like we're chatting up Memo and chatting up Aunt Joe over here that came in from out of town and talking about her dress and like just really enjoying the environment and the event itself and being a part of that while providing a service.
You touched on something that's really important that I fully agree with. It's something I've actually adopted, with my staff. It's like I want people that are responsible and gracious
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
enjoy being of service to other people
Right.
and that are
Right.
just good people because you can teach the
Right.
rest of
Oh
it,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah,
Wholeheartedly.
that really
And
matters.
that it is. And like finding the people that like are just pumped to just like, this is so fun, like I mean, there's so many of them, I can't name them all, but there's a few that just immediately pop in your head. Literally, they've been doing this with us for 5, 6, 7 years. Every wedding they walk into, they are truly like, this is amazing. And they just enjoy it and they can appreciate the work that went into it on the front side. And that's just cool because then they're just truly pumped to be a part of it, that they're just thankful to be there.
A good attitude is truly infectious. That's not just a
It
phrase.
is 1000%.
It really
And
is.
that is, and I'm not saying that we don't have our struggles just like everybody else does, right? Like everybody gets somebody that has an off day or everybody has something that goes on. But I mean, overall, we are so, so fortunate to have the team that we have. And it's
Yeah.
just we joke about it all the time, but we're like, I just don't even know what we did to deserve it and get here. What did we put out in the universe? But we are so grateful to be here.
Yeah, it makes me wonder
Yeah.
if y'all hired people from show business because you know what I mean? Because people that work in show business, they know they have that switch. You turn it on
Yeah.
when you have to and turn it
Yeah.
off when it's okay. And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
everybody on your crew at every venue that I've ever been to, they're all happy to be there, they're all smiling. Hey, how you
Oh,
doing?
thanks.
It's really consistent, and that's hard to find. Also hard to maintain.
That is something, and I know everybody can say like, well, thanks, yada yada. Like Jimmy, like I can say it on behalf of Amber, because not only, is she my boss, but she's truly one of my best friends in the whole world. And I can speak for her and our whole team to say that like the fact that that comes through is what means the most to us. Like it truly is something that is so nice to hear because you don't always hear it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not everybody, you're like, is it coming through? Like we want people to know that it is that means a lot. It really does.
Well, y'all are on a lot of preferred vendor lists, so that should tell you something right there. You know.
Again, I really feel like it comes down to the community and building the relationships that we've had. And it's not just, I feel like if you just show up on the day of, you do a good job and you leave, like that's wonderful, right? But I feel like us building the relationships that we have with our venues for those preferred list and with our other wedding vendors, right? Like when a bride calls you and they ask you what you think, you have preferred people and we have, you know what I mean? Like it just is all out there. So it's important that we keep that community strong and that we know that you're confident at any time you could call us and we're going to be there. Like we will do whatever we can and you know that. And so I think that that is what really attributes to being on a lot of places, but just being, again, it's about the people and making sure that they know it's like, hey, even if it didn't necessarily go like 100% perfect, it might have on the client side, which is great. As long as it's 100% perfect client facing, that's fine. But getting the confidence in your team that they know it's like they'll get it. It'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
will work through it. We'll pivot. It's probably our favorite vocabulary word at Pink Flamingo is pivot. Because we
Oh,
do it
we're
a lot.
gonna we're gonna totally get to the pivot in a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do. That's probably the conversation that I'm most nervous about of like, oh, there's no telling what we pivot on. I mean, all day, every day, you know?
No, actually, you know what? Let's go and get to that. Let's go and get to that because when
Okay,
I
since we're on it. Okay, got
yeah,
it.
since we're on it, because when I hear
Okay.
pivot, I think because to us it's like being able to pivot is being open for flexibility because you
Oh,
got to be
100%.
flexible when you're working with a
Yeah.
wedding. So how important is flexibility for Pink Flamingo?
Ooh, it's big, right? And I think it starts um when they book with us, right? Because a lot of people, they're like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do. I just know I want to use you guys. Okay, great. You've got to be flexible. But we also have to keep it in mind of like when we're booking things, making sure we're allocating proper time, right? So if we don't know what we're booking, got to be a little flexible, but also, have some leeway there. So it starts there. And then a few weeks before the wedding, right? They give you a head count and then it's still fluid. We're rolling through there, right? Like we're like going, please give us the most accurate head count you can, but then it never fails. We're a few days out, and I had 10 more people say they're coming. So
And you're like, do
flexibility,
you want to feed them?
correct. Yeah, I'm like, cool, got it. And obviously, and that's where the flexibility comes in, right? It's like, okay, great. I can add on 10 more. But can working with them, did they feel confident that we can come? It might not be the exact same menu items, but I'm going to come with 10 servings of something. Like we're
Yeah.
going to get everybody fed. Most of the time, we're pretty, I mean, I say it, we're kind of accustomed to, we're expecting those calls. So having the product on hand and stuff like that to pivot helps. But yeah, and then obviously on the day of the flexibility. Um, I love timelines. I am the very organized individual probably of
God
our
bless you.
group.
You got to be.
Um, well, we joke, it's like, it's organized chaos, right? Like that's kind of our favorite term, right? We're organized chaos. But so I love a good timeline. Okay. And I'm so thankful for all the planners that put the effort in to do those, right? But on the day of, you kind of laugh because it's like, well, when are you supposed to do X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, I will tell them like, oh, well, after the bride and groom cut the cake. And they're like, no, like what time? And I just kind of laugh. I'm like, oh, your guess is as good as mine. Bob, we just kind of roll with the punches, right? We look for cues, right? Like we're looking for things that happen at certain points in the event and we're pivoting off of those actions and then not necessarily a time is great, but that's just a rough estimate on the day of, as you know. So
the topic that keeps coming up is the left margin is the times, the right margin is the order of events. The left margin, you may as well just tear it off or fold it over because,
100%,
you know,
100%. The ceremony time is probably the most important time because we try to get as close to that as we can, right? Most of the time, we're pretty fortunate with a lot of the planners that we work with and the places that we work with. Very rarely are they far off from that time mark, right? But then after that, yeah, timeline goes out the window because who knows? Did the preacher get a little long-winded? Did we run a little late? Did we have weather to mess with? Did we have, there's just so many things that go into it.
this is true. And
Yeah.
I can tell you another thing that through the grapevine, when people talk about
Oh
Pink
gosh.
Flamingo,
Okay. Yeah.
another thing that y'all are excellent at, which by the way, it's rare and it's really weird that it's rare, is the communication. That's
Oh,
pretty
thanks.
important, don't you think?
Thanks. That makes me really happy to hear because obviously being the talker of the group, I love to hear that because sometimes we worry it's like, are we being very clear and are we getting to the right people to have, that communication line open and that everybody is on the same page? Because if we're not on the same page with y'all, being the DJ who's going to open our buffet line and dismiss people and do stuff, like it's no bueno when we're not all on the same page. So,
I have to clarify that a little bit. I was actually referring to the speed of your communication, how quickly
oh,
you how
oh,
quickly that people get replies from y'all, like you and
oh.
Karen. Yeah, that is crucial because people just suck at that nowadays. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Well, I'm going to give credit where credit is due on that. And when I say Karen is a blessing, I there's no better way to explain it. We are so fortunate to have somebody who cares so much. Prior to Karen joining the team, it was just me. It was me versus wedding, corporate, private events. Like it was all over the place, right?
Mm.
Um, and I truly can, the timing at which she joined our team and the rest of the chefs joined our team was was a pivotal point in Pink Flamingo's trajectory of what we can do and how it is done and how our clients are handled. And Karen just knocks it out of the
Yeah,
park.
she's great at
Great.
it.
I can't. I mean, she's gonna be like, "You're not supposed to brag," because she'll get on to me about this because we were like, we don't want to be that way, but I just want to give credit where credit is due. We would not be able to be that efficient had she not done such a good job. Like and even if we can't like get all the answers right then, we try really hard to at least shoot a text back to go, "Hey, I saw your message. I saw you called. Like, we're coming, I promise. Like, we have not forgotten
Thank
you."
you. That
It's
is
That's
so
it. It's
important.
like that is what is most important to us. It's like I can't answer you right this hot second, but I see your note and I'm working on it. Just the acknowledgement, I guess
Just
is
tell
the
them
word.
something.
Yeah,
Just let them
yeah,
know that you're still in the loop
100%.
and you're yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that is so
It's like,
rare.
I'm here, I promise I'm alive. It's not crickets. Like, we're good.
Think about you just dealing with like wedding stuff aside, just you living your daily life. When you're just reaching out to
Oh,
other
yeah,
people and you're trying to communicate with them, you at least want to know that you were heard and that they're
100%.
there listening. That's it. That's all
Yep.
you want to know. So,
Acknowledgement. Just
yeah,
acknowledge. They'll be like, "Hey, I see it. I'm gonna get you. I'll talk to you
right.
in just a few minutes." And I think also for us in Pink Flamingo of like, we really want people to know we're real people. Like, we have real lives outside of everything that we do, right? And like putting something relatable in there of like, I mean, when I text people back, I'll be like, I will answer you, I promise, but I'm currently elbow deep washing dishes with the kitchen staff. Or do you know what I mean? Of like just
Hmm.
being real and transparent. And again, it's not that formal corporate, you know, thanks
Hmm.
so much for reaching out. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Not robotic,
Something
basically. Like,
real. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's the best
Yeah.
word for it. So
Well, let me ask you this from a caterer's perspective, especially from a wedding caterer's perspective. What do you wish more clients knew when they were planning their wedding when it comes to food?
it's probably a couple of things, but right out of the gate, I want to know what's most important to them first. Is it presentation? Do you just want pretty food? And you know the difference what I'm talking about. Do we want pretty dainty food or do we want like I want people being like, "Whoa, that was good and that was filling." And it's like what's most important? Is it the line? I don't want it to take all night. I want it to be efficient. So all of those things kind of come into play of like what I would want to know first to know what's important, right? So I guess I would say making sure you know what your goals are with dinner. Is it supposed to be a focal point of your night, or is it just part of and you'll know what I'm saying, like part of like, okay, we have to feed people because we're here for the wedding and I'm ready to move on to other things. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like, or is it a whole experience of knowing those things? And then that helps us do our job to make sure we're picking things that are going to accomplish those. And so we're
Right.
setting us both up for success of like, you're going to be happy. We're going to know, what we need to do to accomplish what you're wanting.
What does a smooth dinner service look like to you? Like when everything goes right, what does that look like?
Everything goes right. Cocktail hour starts on time. Bar service is smooth. We have all the ingredients we're supposed to have to do everything. That is great. We have all of our event staff is is there because as you know, just being in the service industry, people call out because again, we're real people, life happens. Um, Having that strong team, and then dinner, it just kind of goes, right? Like people are just missed table numbers go when they're supposed to go, not when they're not called. Um, which I'm sure you know that pain of that.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Plenty of food, people make proper portions on their plate, so it's not excessive and you don't worry about people running out of food. Um, yeah, I would say that's a pretty smooth, easy dinner service, right? Like when it's just everything kind of rolls together.
I agree.
I mean,
And
I don't want to sound, it's not complicated, but it's also pretty simple. Like when it
yeah,
just kind of goes the way it's supposed to go.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not just food, there's so much more that goes to the
It
machinery
is.
of it just to make sure everything runs smoothly. Um,
It is. And then making sure your refill stuff is ready. And like there's a lot of the back half of the things, right? When you talk about a smooth dinner service, it's not like, oh, I just drop a pan. It's like, well, we have plenty of people in the kitchen that are retraying, doing backup pans and making sure that, you're refilling stuff before it's actually out. Like I didn't want to get caught in the weeds and all those details, but I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it. But the goal is that, the guests are just kind of nice and easy and just move right along and it goes like it's supposed to.
and can I say y'all are the best at when the food in the hot tray runs out, y'all restock that so fast. And it's
Thanks.
consistent like to a
Thanks.
crazy level. You know what I mean? Like you're down to like the last few bites of that chicken parmesan, you know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
I'll be
I
there. There's
do.
there's another pan of it. So
Yeah.
y'all are really good about that.
Well, thank
You
you.
know,
Thank you. We try really hard to make sure everybody has their certain hat and their different responsibilities of, it's not just to show up and okay, everybody figure it out. It's like everybody has their own areas that you're responsible for. And
yeah.
again, I think that goes back to having people that care to do whatever their responsibility is and to do it well. And that is what, again, it makes it all go round is when you have the right people in the right spot. We are not who we are. Pink Flamingo is not one person. It truly is every single person in every aspect of our business. I mean, that is truly like what encompasses it. And the fact that like it's just a team and it's not even a team, it's like legit a family. And I would feel terrible if I did not get that message across because that is truly like if you're in Pink Flamingo, if they are wearing that shirt, they care a great deal about what's happening at any given point. Like I joke, we drank the lemonade or you drank the Kool-Aid, you know what I mean? Like you got bit by the bug and you're in, it's kind of, that's how we all feel.
What can a wedding DJ slash MC do to make dinner service feel more natural and organized?
When things are opened and like when it's dinner time, like obviously you can only, if they say, hey, dismiss it by table, like you can only control so much, right? Like you can't
Right.
help it when four other tables get up and go. What are we going to do? Make them go sit back down? No, can't do that. You guys are always like, and I can speak for you specifically, and you and Jonathan, anytime I have you guys, like I know it's not going to be a question. Like everything's so clearly communicated. We can understand you guys very clearly. That's probably a good one of like as a DJ, making sure that when you speak, like it can be understood from across the room. Like clarity, like that is something because sometimes it is hard. I'm like, what did they just say? What was that announced? Like, what was that? What are we doing now? Um, if there was something to even say about it, right? But as far as the flow and making it more successful and things like that, I think that comes down to the timing between the planners and the caterers of making sure that communication line is open of like, we work really hard. Hey, can I get a 5-minute warning before you open that buffet? Because we're waiting until the last minute to drop that bread so it stays hot. Or we're waiting until the last minute before we open those lids to make sure that it is as hot as possible and like, or that we're able to stir things real good before people walk. You know what I mean? Like, just give
Hmm.
me that 5-minute warning, right? And then so it would just go back to that communication between us two and then it's like sometimes it's us that'll come over and be like, hey, it's time to open that buffet. But most of the time the planners are like on it. Like they tell you,
Yeah.
like, hey, we're good to go, or we're across the room, giving that thumbs up, like, hey, we're ready to rock and roll. Um, I mean, and that would probably be it, is just making sure we can understand it because
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes being like across from you guys, like what are we doing next? What did they say? And then that's just where we pick up on the cues of like, oh, there's a table getting up, let's go, or if we didn't
Yeah.
hear it.
And one venue in particular, I keep going back to the Robin Shaw, but that's just such a big room. It's such a big
Oh, it
echoey
is.
kind of
Yeah,
room. You
absolutely.
got to
Yeah.
be really, you have to make sure
We're
to make
great at hand
announcements
signals
clearly.
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Tell us what it looks like behind the curtain that people don't see at a wedding. What does it look like for a wedding caterer? I mean, I know it's chaotic in the kitchen, but
Organized chaos. And I know I said that earlier, but that is what it is. It is, and that is the true, true description of it, right? So you talk about a wedding on the day of, or even the days leading up to behind the curtain. People don't realize that it's not just Karen. Like, yes, they talk to Karen that handles it, but like once Karen hands it off and like she's done that final walkthrough, the number of hands that it goes through to make it execute and happen on the day of, right? So you have the logistics for the calendar and the staffing people, and so that's going on. And then you have our kitchen staff that's packing and prepping dry, disposable things. And then you have chefs and sous chefs, prepping, cutting, things like that. And so that's all leading up to it. But then on the day of, it is literally everybody's in there all at one time, all doing their things. It's like, you've got this van, you've got that van, you know what I mean? And like making
mhm.
sure, again, it is very organized and very clear what goes where, but it's still, if you were to walk in from the outside and put a camera in on wedding day, you'd go, I don't know what just happened, but I think everything's okay. Like it's truly one of those things that you're like, you good, great, we're gone, bye. And like we're running, so you
Yeah.
have like a home-based person that's there that's literally like sending stuff out the door.
Other than the obvious head count, right? What
Yeah.
what should couples think about when they're choosing their menu?
Again, what's important to you?
Mhm.
Is it efficiency? Is it I don't want my dinner to take all night to feed 250 guests. Or is it, I want it to be an experience. I want food to take up because we're big foodies. I want it to be a big part of the night. Those are things that matter a lot when we get ready to pick a menu. Um, I would rather a client call us on the front side and go, we have no idea what's important to us. Great, clean slate, let's talk through it. And then we can give them those options versus some people call and they're, I want X, Y, and Z, and they're dead set on that. But then they give me a timeline that's like, well, X, Y, and Z is not going to fit in this timeline that you're wanting, right? So
Mhm.
they want to feed 250 people, but they've given us 30 minutes for dinner service. It's like that doesn't really jive. Which again, planners come key in that. And we are so fortunate that a lot of them are able to like educate people on that before they get to us.
Mhm.
But those are things that I would encourage couples to really think about of like, again, what matters to you for your night when it comes to the food portion of it.
Are there any crazy trends going on right now that are happening
You
catering
know,
wise?
right now I feel like people really love small plates. People really love the one that I've seen recently. Like I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok right now, because of all the different things that people see. And it's like, oh, well, I saw it done here. And it's like, right, but you don't know the either the dollar amount that goes with it to make that happen, or you don't know the number of people it takes to execute that, things like that that you don't see it. But the cannoli cart right now that people walk around, like the walking stations, have you seen those?
Oh, and
Um,
TikTok, absolutely. I've seen
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, like right now it's pretty trendy, and we're getting a lot of requests for like the walking stations, whether it's like walking tacos or walking cannolis or things like that. And those are fun. They are. But it takes a different level of execution of adding that in there, because it's like you got to think, if you're doing that, you can't have one of those people for 250 people to get a cannoli. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
So it's like those are just the little things that people, when they see it, they go, "Oh, that'll be cute to have that walking around." But then they don't realize, oh, like most of my people are going to go get in line for that. And then that's another line that they're standing in, right? So you got your bar line, your buffet line, your cake line. Like we try really hard to make sure that guests don't feel like they're just waiting in line all night.
Have you seen the half naked cowboy serving cannolis on TikTok? You know what
I
I'm talking
have.
about? Like, how many half naked cowboys does it take to feed
Yeah,
cannolis to 250 people?
absolutely. Absolutely. It is again, love-hate relationship, a lot of really cool ideas out there and things like that. But it's like also where it is in the country that that trend is happening. It depends
Yeah.
on are the prices going to match up, because we try
Yeah.
really, really, really hard to be competitive and fair with those costs and don't want people to incur just a ton of extra expense just because they're like, oh, that looks cool. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't
Yeah.
necessarily feel passionately about it, but it's like, okay, if you don't feel passionately about it, put your funds somewhere else that would
Right.
actually contribute to the night, which, you know, we're always big in like, make sure you have good music, good food, and a good space, right? Like those are solid. And so it's like, yeah, if you care about it, put your money where that is.
It kind of reminds me of that show, HD on HGTV, I think it is. Love It or List It, where people go in, they're like,
Oh, yeah,
I want a beach view, and I want to live in the mountains, and I want
absolutely.
a swimming pool, and I want a jacuzzi, and I want 5 bedrooms, and I want every bathroom needs to be en suite. And okay, well, that house is going to cost $14 million,
Right.
So
Absolutely.
let's
Okay, well,
pare it
great.
down a
Then
little
we'll
bit.
modify hours. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. But I do, we tell people all the time, tell us what you want. Tell me that first so we can know what is truly important to you. What are you trying to do on that day? What means the most to you on that day? And then from there, we'll talk about a budget and then be like, okay, great. What can we fit in that to get you as close to that, if not all of it, right? Like to accomplish that. And I think that's the other thing of like who you have as like your vendor team of like most of the time, hopefully most of these people that are coming, this is their first time doing it, right? They don't
Mhm.
know. So it's like just that being able to have people that are knowledgeable in the industry to go, hey, we could accomplish this same concept, but if we just pivot a little bit and do it this way, it offers this much cost savings on it, and
Right.
having people be receptive to that. And that's important.
When clients book with y'all, they already know an idea of the guest count. They have an idea of like what kind of food, or for the most part, I guess they know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't, you haven't actually like finalized with your clients yet, right? So when do you normally
Correct.
encourage clients to like, hey, we need to start like really nailing down stuff and getting everything on
Yeah.
paper and figuring out like when do you normally encourage clients to do that?
So how the process just kind of usually works when they reach out to us, we have them give us a rough idea of what they want, right? And they get their estimate based on that. And it's like, look, this is just to literally get us started. Then they come in for a tasting. And then at the tasting, we really get to kind of hone in on and answer all those questions that are event specific to them, and help kind of guide that. And then that's anywhere from, it depends on where they are in their planning process. Most of the time, we see people, I don't know, here recently, people have been booking really late, like waiting till the last minute to do a lot of
That's
things. I don't know if
everybody.
y'all have
Yeah.
seen that
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But I feel like we've seen, like, we just did tastings last night and I had a few for October of this year. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, which is fine, but it's just been different because, a few years ago, people were like 18, 24 months out trying to plan things. It was wild.
Wasn't that nice? The good old
It
days.
was. I was like, man, I know what my next few years looks like. Now I'm like, I don't know what the next few months look like.
I know.
Um, but anyway, so yeah, they come in and they do that. And then once they do their tasting, we tell them, like, take some time if your timeline allows, and then we'll really nail down like 30 days out. Like, we're going to really deep dive 30 days out, because all of those details that we need, that people don't think are important to caterers, but they really are, all of those details are going to change 27 times between the first time we meet you until that 30 days
I'm
before.
sure.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, wait till the last minute and then we'll deep dive and get all that detail. Because again, even up till a few days before, sometimes we're getting changes, but it gives us a much better snapshot of what we're working with.
I gotcha. I gotcha. What
Yep.
do you want couples to know about buffet versus plated versus stations? Anything in particular that they need to know about those?
So I feel like a plated tableside dinner service provides a certain level of formality. So if you're truly trying to encompass next level elegance, top of the line dinner service, right? That's what I feel like that vibe gives. Buffet is it's cozy, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything wrong with a buffet in any sort of the means. Like, I think it's the most popular option that people are doing, right? It's the most efficient to get everybody fed. A plated dinner service, execution on the backside for a caterer is, in my opinion, a task that is, I admire those that do it. Okay. Pink Flamingo does not offer a plated table dinner side service. I don't necessarily like put on, I don't want to say we wouldn't ever do it, but we did it for a while years ago. And then just due to our professional preference of what we want to execute for quality, we bowed out and we were like, this is just not, because there are a few caterers here in town that nail it every single time. Like, you want a plated service, those are your people. And it's awesome. And it's like, that's reassuring to know that that's there. But it's also like, we also know that, like, that's not our wheelhouse. So let's remove ourselves, right? Um, Stations are fun. The biggest thing I would want people to know is that stations, even though it might seem less like more cost effective on the front side, there's a lot of more expense because it takes more of the items to fill people up, right? Hors d'oeuvres, smaller station things like that. Because it's not as forgiving as a buffet, right? With a full meal. It takes, most people wouldn't believe it, 14 to 16 bites of something to fill you up for dinner if you're feeding them little hors d'oeuvres. And a lot of people just don't put it that way. They're like, "Oh, I see that station's 5.95 a person." It's like, right, but that's an appetizer portion. They're going to need a few of those to be full for dinner. And so, educating our clients on those different things when they call is a lot of the times, again, that Karen knocks it out of the park of like, "Oh, hey, let's just kind of talk through that and make sure you know what that actually includes."
From a Pink Flamingo perspective,
Eyes
is
are
there
watering.
anything that y'all do? Like, do you have like a signature thing that like makes the wedding feel upscale and elevated? Because y'all do a lot of upscale weddings, at the more upscale venues and
Yeah.
everything. Is there a
Yeah.
particular secret sauce that y'all have?
I don't want to say secret sauce. I think it goes back to the level of care that and the detail that we ask. Things that we ask our clients, most of the time they're like, why do you need to know that? You're the caterer. And it's like we try so hard to get in their heads of like, what are you putting here in the room? What are you doing for decor there? What is it that you have on your tables or that you're doing special somewhere else? Because we work really hard to make sure that we are coordinating and that we are meeting that same level presentation wise when it comes to your buffet display. Because we don't want to walk in and be like, oh, who set that up? Like, we want to make sure that it's like, oh, wow, that decor like flows with the rest of your room. And so, and I feel like that's regardless of the formality level, upscale weddings, casual weddings, any of that. I think we ask all of those same questions to every single client, no matter what, and the stuff that makes the difference of, the vendors that we have great florists that we work with that love us and they leave us fresh blooms because they didn't use them in an arrangement and we can pop them into, to use them in places or they're sweet and like we have an actual arrangement for our table. I really feel like the little touches are kind of like what changes the game, like presentation wise when it comes to it.
It sounds like you really want to compel your clients to consider the full experience, not just the menu, right?
Correct.
You want to see the
Correct.
big picture of the whole thing. Yeah, yeah,
Correct. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Like, I don't want them to have this beautiful upscale wedding glassware, plateware, dishes rented. I'm talking just stunning view. And I serve a barbecue menu on a glass plate. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's like, you want that to match, right? You want it to
Right.
make sense with the vibe of the night. Now if it's like I want it upscale, I want it this, but like we're hardcore Memphians and we want to reflect the true essence of Memphis. Well, are you Memphis if it's not barbecue related? Do you know what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
immediately go that route. Well, great. We can find a way to incorporate it, but maybe not with like barbecue sandwiches. Do you know what I mean? Of like having that flexibility to do that. And so that's what I feel like is important is making sure, again, the menu is reflective of the couple and what they're trying to accomplish for the night and that it is cohesive with the rest of the vibe of the whole day.
What do you think separates an average wedding from one that's just interstellar, unforgettable? Like like you've got one that's just like, what's nothing wrong with the backyard barbecue
Yeah.
wedding? Those are cool.
Yeah,
Those are fun.
absolutely. Yeah, they are fun. Yeah.
But what separates just a regular wedding from one that's just like, oh my gosh, that was amazing.
To me, I would say it's cliche. I think it's the people, but I also think my other favorite word is the intention that they have with it. Of you can tell every part of that day was intentionally thought out
Hmm.
of meaning. And I feel like, and I'm not talking just like, oh, they intentionally made sure that their colors were made through the whole day. I'm talking like little details that just reflect, again, this goes back to my sentimental side, but of who this couple is that we're celebrating. And like you can just tell every detail. There was just very intentional thought and effort put into it to really show who they are. That's what I personally think. I don't necessarily think that it's about the flashy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I think
I
it's like
agree.
when I leave, I'm like, wow, I feel like I know what it would be like to be a part of that family. Like you just really feel like you know them.
Yeah, the whole intentionality thing keeps coming up time after time
Yeah,
after time. It's all about intent. That's what elevates a wedding to something that's
right.
just absolutely
It does.
unforgettable, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
For sure.
it's not just the color of the napkins. That was intentional. No, man, I'm talking about the whole package. Like
Correct. Yeah.
every detail. Yeah. A
Right.
good wedding planner, by the way, can really help with that.
A
Um,
hundred percent. They changed the game for sure.
oh yeah. Can you tell me about a wedding? Does a particular wedding stand out in your mind where dinner service just went so smoothly and it was just like a dream? By the way, Pink Flamingo, guys, does this a lot, pretty consistently. But can you think of one that just really stands out? You're like, That was amazing. So smooth. You could have just napped through it. It was so easy.
I honestly don't know that I can because I think if we ever get to that level of comfort, that would make me incredibly nervous because the
I
complacency, if
get
it was
that.
that smooth, I think I would be terrified.
Yeah, because you're thinking the whole time,
I,
what's going wrong? There's got to be
yeah,
something going on.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like we try really, really hard to make sure we keep the mindset of the positive side of things, of like, regardless of what's thrown at us, it's like, well, it could have been this. At least it wasn't that, like you really want to look that way about it. But I really feel like if we ever got to that level of complacency, it'd be like, well, what could we have done to do better? Like, if you reach that level of comfort, I feel like that means we're not pushing ourselves to the next level.
I like
Because
that.
if you're that comfortable, like there's got to be something that you could have changed up to have been
Yeah.
like, I don't believe you can over plan, but I don't believe that, like, yeah, I don't think you should ever just settle. Or not I think we as a company just really feel like there's always something we could have done better.
This kind of bleeds into the one question that I ask everybody is,
Okay.
do you ever get nervous?
Yeah, I'm just so transparent. But I think that really reflects me as a human. Um, if you were to stand Amber, Peyton, me, and Karen all next to each other before a wedding, all four of us will have a different emotion before. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I'm an overthinker. And so what did we miss? What's this? What's that? Da, da,
You're
da.
the
And then
perfect woman for the job, my
that's
friend.
where I get, well, that's where I get really like, I want to make sure everything is good. And I'm not necessarily worried, but I will get like, is everything good? Did we miss something? So that level of nerve, I guess, is what I would consider it. And then, my other ones, we joke, we're all a very good even kill to like level each other out.
I've always said that if you're not just a little nervous, you just don't care enough about what you're doing. You
Exactly.
know,
100%. Yeah.
I have to give some context with that because I interviewed Michael Doyle and I asked him if he ever got nervous. He's like, when I was younger, yeah, but no, no, not at all. I'm
I
like, okay,
saw
well,
that.
you're Michael Doyle. You can say that. You know,
Well,
you got a
it's
thousand
like
people running
he
around you.
obviously, yeah, I was like, I mean, they have seen it all probably. And it's
Yeah.
like he has a stellar reputation and rightfully so. You know what I mean? But like, yes, I laughed when I heard him say that. I was like, more power to you, buddy. How do you do it? Like, how
I
do we
know.
get there?
I was thinking
That
you're
was
the
cool.
only one that could get away with saying that. Like you are the one
For sure.
singular individual that can get away with saying that.
Bless him. I love it.
You have obviously over the years worked with Deep Blue before. What's your experience been like?
I truly, when we see Deep Blue's name on our vendor list, we know we're going to have a good time. We just know it. It doesn't matter what kind of crowd it is. I love the energy that y'all always do such a good job of reading a room, of being able to tell like how to move the night along that works best for the crowd that's there. And that is something that like it's always fun because whether I'm bartending or whether I'm in the kitchen or wherever I am, it's always fun to like watch the progression of the night with Deep Blue. Like y'all kill it every time. It's true. It's so true though, because it's like just it's hard to do. And I don't even know, I don't even know if this is on there, but I do feel like this is important to say. The one question at tastings we get a lot, because a lot of times people haven't gotten their DJs when they come for tastings. They've gotten recommendations or they've started the process, but they haven't found them yet. Um, a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't know, I just want somebody fun. And it's like, well, what's your like fun is relative. Like I really feel like that is a subjective adjective to use when you're trying to pick somebody, right? Because again, not everybody vibes together. But the one thing that like I think when of knowing what they want. If they want you to be very interactive with their crowd, or if they don't, if they just literally want you to just make sure music keeps playing and hit their cues, or if they want you to be involved in the day and things like that. And I feel like y'all are so universal of like being able to meet so many different needs of whatever that client is wanting. And I think that is very unique in the DJing field because I feel like personalities are strong in the DJ world, right? Like most DJs are very, like, very big personalities, and that's awesome. But that doesn't mean that they're always going to fit. And some can't always come down and meet those clients that maybe aren't big personalities. Um, I don't know. And I just think y'all do that very, very well. I just want to make sure that you know, like when we talk about DeepBlu, like when we know and like we see that on there, and like again at tastings when clients ask and they're like, oh, well, what kind of DJs are they? And I'm like, well, what kind do you want? Like, what is it that you need out of your day? And it's like, I promise you, like, and there's a few of you guys that are like that way, but it's so nice to be able to confidently give names and to go like, hey, check them out, have a phone call, see how it goes from there. And then I promise you, like, something's going to stick, and that's cool. A smooth wedding day starts with a strong vendor team. I know you probably hear that a lot, but it's not just a strong vendor team that is, great reviews and all these other things. It's knowing that your vendor team believes in each other and the community that they have together and knowing that they work well together. Great catering is about more than food because it truly is about the experience and like the people that you have that are providing that service for you. It is making sure that your caterers are very client oriented and that they care not just about you as a bride and groom or mom and dad. It's about we care that every single guest there enjoys themselves. That they have enough food, that they think it's yummy, and then they get to get on with their night and enjoy the party. Guest experience matters because I feel like it's a direct reflection of the efforts that you've put into the day. You want to know from a client perspective, you want to know that the people that you love that showed up to pour into you, to celebrate you, that they got the same amount of love and fun and happiness out of the day that you did. I'm Melinda with Pink Flamingo Catering, and we would be so honored to be a part of whatever occasion, a wedding, baby showers, parties, anything that you're celebrating or anything that you need support from that would help alleviate from a catering standpoint. We truly, truly care about your day and whatever event it is to make it special. We would want you to have the confidence and know that every single person and every set of hands that touches your event cares just as much as the first person that you talk to. And we really would just be really honored to be a part of your special day.